Juliet sat by the window, quietly sobbing as she watched the evening sun slowly disappear behind the rooftops. Her one-room apartment felt smaller than usual. The silence inside was loud. The only sound was the ceiling fan turning slowly, creaking at every spin, as if it, too, was tired. She looked at her phone. No messages. No missed calls. It had been 2 weeks since her boyfriend, David, last checked on her. But she didn't want to complain. She reminded herself, he's just under pressure. It's the new job hunt stress. Juliet was 36 years old, unmarried and without children. Just a steady job as a secretary in a private school and a love life that was beginning to feel like charity work. David, her boyfriend of 5 years, was 6 years younger. He was 30 years old, smart, tall, and good-looking, but jobless. He had been job hunting for almost 3 years. Interviews came and went. Promises were made, then broken. His confidence was dying slowly, and so was their relationship. Still, Juliet never thought of quitting their relationship. She believed in him. Then, one hot Monday morning, the school's proprietor, Chief James, asked her to escort him to the airport. She didn't like the man. His eyes were always too slow, too heavy, like he saw through her clothes. In the car, Chief James kept watching her. He didn't hide it. "You're a very loyal woman," he finally said, his voice deep and slippery. "Thank you, sir," she replied, facing the window. "I've heard how you support your boyfriend. What's his name again?" "David." Juliet turned, surprised. "Yes, sir. He's lucky," Chief James said. "Very lucky to have you. Not many women will do what you've done." She smiled politely, unsure where he was going. "Tell me, Juliet," he leaned closer. "What if I told you I can give him a job? A good one with a huge salary, a company car, and a fully serviced apartment." Her eyes widened. "You can do that." He nodded slowly. "But you already know nothing in this life comes free." Silence filled the car. Juliet's heart began to beat fast. "You mean, you want something in return?" she asked, her voice suddenly dry. Chief James chuckled. "You're a smart woman. I don't need to mince words with you. I like you. I've liked you for a while. Let's spend one intimate night together. Just one night, and your boyfriend gets his dream job." Juliet froze. He continued, "You have nothing to lose. You're not married. He will never know. And he gets everything he wants. That's love, isn't it?" They arrived at the airport. Juliet walked him in silently. Her mind was spinning. That night, she cried herself to sleep. The next day, she called in sick. She stayed in bed, replaying the offer in her head. It was like standing at a junction. One road led to shame, the other to hope. She thought about David's sad face when he returned from interviews. The way he always said, "Maybe God has forgotten me." She thought about how her friends laughed behind her back, calling her mother hen for dating a younger man with no job. She thought about how much she had given, and how little she had left. She wanted David to be happy. She wanted him to be rich so they could get married and start a family. So, that weekend she agreed. She met Chief James at a hotel in the city. The room smelled of expensive perfume. She didn't cry or smile. She just wanted the night to be over. The next morning, after Chief James was satisfied, he handed her a small paper with a company name and a phone number. "Call this person. Your David's job is ready. I keep my promises." Juliet took the paper from him and left without looking back. 3 days later, David got an email. He had been offered a senior management role in an international oil company. There was no interview. He just got a congratulatory message and an offer letter. David screamed when he saw it. He danced around in Juliet's apartment like a child. "Babe, babe, I told you. God has done it." He didn't know that it wasn't God. It was her. He hugged Juliet tightly and whispered, "I'll never forget what you've done for me." She smiled weakly. "You don't know the half of it," she whispered back. But she would never tell him. He moved into his official apartment a week later. A 3-bedroom flat in Lekki Phase 1. Juliet didn't ask for anything. Not even a key. She just watched him with a beaming smile but a deep-seated guilt, hoping that now they could finally make concrete plans for marriage. But something in her heart had already started to crack. And it wouldn't be long before things began to unravel. David's life had changed overnight. He no longer wore the tight jeans and faded shirts Juliet used to buy for him from Yaba Market. Now he wore fine suits, Italian shoes, and expensive perfumes with names he couldn't pronounce properly. From trekking on dusty Lagos roads to cruising around in a shiny black Toyota Camry with leather seats and a smooth engine. From sharing a small flat with 3 jobless friends in the ghetto to sleeping alone in a well-serviced 3-bedroom apartment in Lekki Phase 1. The fridge was always stocked. The AC worked round the clock. Security men greeted him with, "Good morning, sir." Even the gate opened with remote control. He had finally arrived. He had become somebody. Juliet visited 2 weeks after he moved in. She brought him jollof rice and peppered chicken, packed neatly in an insulated container. He thanked her with a quick kiss and placed the food on the kitchen counter. But he didn't eat it. He had ordered Chinese food that night instead. At first, he called her often, sometimes twice a day. But soon the calls reduced. Then they turned to voice notes. Then just 1 or 2 messages in a day. Sometimes he would text late at night, saying he was too busy or tired from work. Juliet noticed the change. She wasn't a child. But she told herself, "This is what I wanted. He's busy now. He has to grow into the role. He'll make time for us when he settles into the rhythm of his new life." What she didn't know was that he had already started to leave. Back in Surulere, Juliet's friends started noticing the distance too. "Have you seen him lately?" her friend Debbie asked one Sunday after church. Juliet shook her head. "He's busy. Work is plenty." Debbie raised her brows. "Too busy to see you for 2 weeks?" Juliet smiled weakly. "He's trying. I understand." But deep inside, her heart was asking questions. Questions she was too afraid to answer. One evening, while folding clothes, her friend Rose visited. "I saw David today with a lady," Rose said suddenly. Juliet looked up. "Where?" "Last weekend. At an expensive lounge." Her tone was casual, but her eyes were sharp. "Who was the lady?" "He said it was a cousin," Rose shrugged. "But, Juliet, you know I know lies. That girl looked nothing like a cousin. And she was touching him anyhow." Juliet swallowed hard and forced a laugh. "My David isn't like that." Rose sighed. "Just keep your eyes open, my sister. Love is blind, but neighbors can see." David, on the other hand, was flying high in his new lifestyle. He had met another lady called Favor during one of his company's corporate events. She was 25, beautiful, confident, and came from a rich home. She wore sleek wigs, painted her nails in soft pink, and laughed like she had never suffered before. David was drawn to her like bees to honey. When she asked about his relationship status, he smiled and said, "I'm single. Just been too focused on work. Women don't really understand men like me." He didn't even blink when he lied. They started going out more often. They went for dinners, took weekend trips, even small getaways in Abuja and Ghana. David was in deep. And Favor? She believed every word. He told her he built his life from scratch, that he was self-made, that his last relationship ended because the woman was lazy, clingy, and didn't understand ambition. Favor admired his drive. By the 3rd month, she introduced him to her parents. By the 5th month, he proposed to her. He did the proposal secretly. There was no ring. He just whispered promises and gave her a gold wristwatch. She said yes, and they began planning a private traditional wedding in her village in Calabar. David said he wanted the wedding to be small and classy. Just close family and trusted friends, he told her family. Her family was thrilled and accepted his demands. In truth, he was hiding her from the world and hiding Juliet from her. Meanwhile, Juliet noticed David had changed in more ways than one. He no longer called her baby or sweetheart. Now, it was just Juliet. He no longer kissed her forehead before leaving. He no longer visited unless she begged. Her heart told her something was wrong, but she had no proof, only a growing emptiness. One night, she sat on her balcony with a bowl of cereal, staring into the dark sky. She remembered the night she agreed to sleep with Chief James, all because of David. The shame came pouring back in her mind like a flood. She remembered the tears she cried in the shower after. Was this her reward? Her eyes burned, but no tears came. She was too tired to cry. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a short message from David. "Hey, can't come by tomorrow like I promised. Got an urgent work trip." At that moment, Juliet had finally had enough of the silence and the excuses. She hated the feeling that she was begging to be loved by someone she once gave everything to. She looked at the message, then at the stars. "God, please show me what I'm not seeing," she whispered. Then, like a quiet whisper from the sky, a decision came to her. Invite him again. She picked up her phone and sent a simple message. "Okay, David, please come on Friday. I want to talk. I'll make your favorite meal." He replied in less than 2 minutes. Okay, I'll try." Just like that. "No, baby. No, how are you?" Just, "I'll try." Still, Juliet smiled. She already knew he would come. Friday evening arrived. The aroma of egusi soup filled the small flat. A bowl of pounded yam was steaming beside it. She added soft goat meat, just the way he liked it. Soft meat, no bones, well seasoned, fried in plenty of oil. She set the table and placed a chilled bottle of malt beside his plate. Then she changed into a simple jean shorts and a clean blouse. She tied her hair up and wiped her face with a damp cloth. At exactly 7:42 p.m., a knock came. It was David, wearing a nice shirt and polished shoes, smelling of expensive cologne, holding his phone like it was part of his body. "Juliet," he said casually, giving her a quick hug like she was his aunt. "Welcome," she said with a smile. He sat at the prepared table, looked at the food, and raised an eyebrow. "You really made egusi for me?" She nodded. "With soft goat meat." His eyes lit up for the first time in weeks. "Wow, it's been a while." And just like that, he started eating. Juliet sat across from him, watching every bite. After the meal, he rubbed his stomach and leaned back on the couch. "Babe, I'm full," he said, stretching. That hit the spot. He yawned once, then again. "I think I need small sleep," he mumbled. Juliet nodded. "You can rest. I'll wake you soon." Within minutes, he was snoring. He looked peaceful and unbothered as he slept. Juliet stared at him for a long moment. Her fingers trembled slightly, but her face stayed calm. Then she reached for his phone. It was locked, but she was able to unlock it with his fingerprint. She immediately opened his WhatsApp. She didn't even need to search far. The first chat was with someone saved as, "My sweet baby." She opened it, and immediately, her heart sank. There were voice notes, selfies, "I miss you," messages, and lots of kiss emojis. Then she saw a picture of Favor, posing beside David at a fancy restaurant. The caption said, "Can't wait to be Mrs. David." Juliet sat still, not blinking. Her eyes scanned through more chats. Another message read, "The wedding planner says we'll need to send your measurements by Friday. We need to finalize your list of guests." Then, the knife went deeper. She saw a group chat with 3 of David's friends. One message stood out. "Bro, how did you stay with that old cargo all these years? You're finally free." David replied, "I did what I had to do. She helped a little, but please, my level has changed. Favor is the real deal. She's fine, young, and connected. Juliet read it twice to make sure she wasn't hallucinating. Even though she was heartbroken by everything she saw, she didn't cry. She just forwarded all the chats and images to her WhatsApp. Then she stood up slowly and walked to the window. The night breeze hit her face gently. She remembered Chief James, his hands on her body, the tears she cried in the bathroom after that night. All for David. And here he was, calling her old cargo in a group chat, planning a wedding behind her back, using the same mouth he once used to call her his future. Juliet walked back to the couch. David was still snoring softly, face relaxed, mouth slightly open like a baby's. She looked at him, at the man she gave her heart to, the man she gave her body to Chief James for, the man who was now preparing to marry someone else in secret. She felt like it was all a dream, but she was wide awake. Now that she knew what was going on, she was ready to confront David, but not right now. She would wait for him to wake up. The next morning, David stretched and yawned as the early morning light peeked through the window. His neck ached slightly from sleeping on the couch, but his belly was still full and satisfied. As he opened his eyes fully, the first thing he saw was Juliet, sitting quietly on the single chair across from him, smiling. That same gentle smile she always wore when she wanted to hide something. But today, there was fire in her eyes. "Good morning," he said, rubbing his eyes. "Morning," she replied softly. He looked around. "Ah, I slept off, N? That food was too sweet. I'm glad you liked it." He chuckled and stood up to stretch. "Wow, I needed that. I've been so busy lately. Pressure from work, pressure from all sides." Juliet nodded slowly. "I know." David picked up his phone from the table and unlocked it. That's when his face changed slightly. He glanced up at Juliet. She was still watching him. Calm, quiet, still smiling. You touched my phone," he asked. Her smile didn't fade. "Yes, I most certainly did." David's lips parted, but no words came out. He wasn't sure how much she saw, or if she saw anything at all. "Did you see anything?" he asked cautiously. "Yes, of course. I saw a lot," she replied, her voice still soft. He licked his lips. "Okay, I can explain." She raised her hand gently. "Don't." He froze. "I don't want your explanation, David. I'm not confused. I understand everything clearly now." David sat down slowly. His throat suddenly felt dry. Juliet stood and walked toward the window. Her back was to him now. "I saw your new girl's pictures. Her name is Favor, right?" He said nothing. "I saw the wedding plans, the guest list, even her father's name. Chief Obi. He's a powerful man." Still, David said nothing. "I saw the group chat too," she added, turning to face him now, "where you and your friends laughed about me. They called me old cargo. They said you were finally free." Her voice didn't shake, and her eyes didn't blink. She had already cried all her tears in silence. David stood up. "Juliet, please. It's not what you think. I was going to tell you." "No," she cut in. "You were never going to tell me. You were going to marry her in secret and then pretend like I never existed." "Juliet, do you ever sit down to think about how you became who you are today?" "What do you mean?" he asked, confused. "You think you got that job because you're smart?" she asked sharply now. "You think your CV impressed anyone?" David blinked. "What exactly are you saying?" She stepped closer. "Do you know how you got that job, David?" He stared at her, confused. "I submitted my resume to so many companies. I slept with Chief James." She screamed and burst into tears. The room went silent. David took a step back like someone had slapped him. You, what? I slept with him, she said again, slowly. He said he could help you get your dream job. All he wanted was a night with me, and I gave it to him. For you. David's mouth was wide open. You're lying. I wish I was. She went into her bedroom and brought a small envelope, dropping it into his hand. That's a copy of the deal. He texted me a contract. Said if I fulfilled my part, he would pull strings and make you his project. I did. You got the job a week later. David stared at the paper in disbelief. His body felt cold. All this while, he whispered. You did this for me? Juliet smiled again. This time, the smile was sad, broken, and empty. I did it for love, for hope, for our future. But you turned around and mocked me. You spat on the same hand that built the ladder you're climbing. David fell to his knees. Juliet, I messed up. Please. I didn't know. If I knew. But you didn't care to ask, she cut in. You just assumed you did it all on your own. You got a taste of money, and you forgot who stood by you when you had nothing. I was stupid. I was proud. Please, forgive me. Juliet turned away. You can go now. He looked up. What? Go, she said firmly. Leave. Go and marry your favor. Drive your nice car. Sleep in your big apartment. Enjoy it all while it lasts. David remained on the floor, begging, but Juliet had already walked into the bedroom. She shut the door gently behind her. He sat there for several minutes, alone and ashamed. And for the first time in a long while, he felt like the jobless man he used to be, not because of money, but because of what he had just lost. In her room, Juliet lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She had stopped crying. Now, she was thinking of how best to punish someone who never deserved her sacrifice. If you were Juliet, what would you do? Please drop your answer below in the comments section. Also, let me know if you want a part 2 for the story in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more stories.